I call the November 18, 2019 meeting of the Mexico City Council to order.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
This time, may I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
From the 28th.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Abstain.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Okay, first order of business. Bill number 2019-73, an ordinance to vacate the north-south alley in Highland Addition to the city of Mexico, Missouri. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor, the city received a request from the property owner of adjacent to this unapproved alley, and they requested that we vacate it. And to cover the details of their request, we'll turn to Rita Jackson.
This agenda item concerns a request to vacate a 12-foot wide north-south alley in Highland Addition to the City of Mexico. Vine Street bounds this alley to the north, Hendrick Street to the south, North Clark to the west, and Washington to the east. Staff received a request from Matthew and Chanel Stevens to vacate the alley running north and south east of their property located at 221 Hendricks. 6 adjacent property owners, utility companies, and public safety were notified with no objections received. Approval was recommended to vacate the alley at the November 5th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. A copy of those minutes were attached. The above described alley has not been improved or maintained by the city, and there is no public necessity for improvement. Therefore, the 12-foot wide north-south alley in Highland Addition to the City of Mexico will be vacated for all general, vehicular, and public traffic purposes. Once vacated, the property in equal portions is returned to adjacent lot owners of the said alley. The alley vacation will allow for utility easement retainage. Staff recommends that council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance. This ordinance has been posted the required time, and in the audience we do have Matthew and Chanel Stevens.
It's your pleasure.
I make a motion to read bill number 2019-73 by title only.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes. Bill number 2019-73, an ordinance to vacate the north-south alley in Highland Addition to the City of Mexico, Missouri. I make a motion to pass bill number 2019-73.
Second reading.
Oh, second reading, sorry.
Second.
I'll read it.
Briggs?
Yes.
Oh, I have to read it again.
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes. Bill number 2019-73, an ordinance to vacate the north-south alley in Highland Addition to the City of Mexico. Move for passage of bill number 2019-73.
Second.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Bill number 2019-74, an ordinance calling for and establishing the filing dates for the municipal general election to be held in 2020 to fill 2 3-year terms on the Missouri City Council. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. This ordinance sets forth the dates of the 2020 municipal general election and establishes the time period for candidate filing. Statements of candidacy will be received by the city clerk starting on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019, and will run through Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. The municipal election date will be held on Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. In order to proceed with the mechanics of accepting the statements of candidacy and establishing the election dates, we recommend that council proceed with 2 readings by title only and passage of the attached ordinance, and the ordinance has been posted as required length of time.
Council?
Move for reading of bill number 2019-74.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes. All right. Bill number 2019-74, an ordinance calling for establishing the filing dates for the municipal general election to be held in 2020 to fill 2 3-year terms on the Mexico, Missouri city. Move for second reading bill number 2019-74.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Bill number 2019-74, an ordinance calling for and establishing the filing dates for the municipal general election to be held in 2020 to fill 2 3-year terms on the Mexico City Council. Move for passage of bill number 2019-74.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Okay. Other business. Staff report, purchase of a virtual servers for IT Administrative Service Department. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. As part of the budgeting process, it was time to update and replace current system. And to cover the details of the bids received, we'll turn to Roger Haynes.
Good evening, council, and just to let you know, if it gets too detailed, I'm going to defer to Patrick Shaw, our IT person. The 2019-2020 annual budget allows $62,400 for the purchase and installation of a virtual server system for the IT Administrative Services Department. This will replace the current system, which is beyond useful life. The city's purchasing policy allows for utilization of cooperative procurement programs, which can prove advantageous to the city by utilizing better pricing obtained through large governmental contracts. In this case, the City of Mexico has been able to receive favorable pricing through the use of such governmental purchasing agreements. The city has received a partnering proposal to purchase and install a new virtual server system from SHI International and Huber and Associates under cooperative procurement programs. City staff did solicit bids from 2 other major suppliers for purposes of cross-checking the pricing. The partnering proposal from SHI International and Huber and Associates totals $41,702.91. The only other bid that we received that was complete was by CDW, Lincolnshire, Illinois, for an HP system, and their total was $50,608. Worldwide Technology did not provide a complete bid. The acquisition will more than double our storage from 5 terabytes to 12 terabytes and quadruple our memory from 96 gigabytes to 384 gigabytes. And we did go with a top-shelf processor, the Intel Xeon Gold. Staff recommends to council that they approve the purchase and installation pricing as proposed by SHI International and Huber and Associates. And I'd be glad to answer any questions. And if I can't, Patrick can.
These are 2 different pieces of equipment.
They are
Together, it's 41. So you're
that is correct, right. It's similar to like when we may buy a 1-ton truck and put a flatbed on it. We'll get part of the truck from a truck dealer and then the flatbed from another dealer.
It just adds like one doesn't have a total bin, the other one doesn't have a total bin. We're like, what's going on? But there's a piece from each. It's a total 41.
Right.
And this will be used for, I'm guessing, mainly for the police department?
This is for citywide.
Citywide.
Yep.
So this could expand our ability to have body cameras, couldn't it?
I would defer that to Patrick. They take up a lot of space.
I move we approve the purchase of SHI International and Huber and Associates for IBM equipment for $41,702.91.
Second.
Briggs.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Shivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Okay, next item on the agenda, relocating Ameren, Missouri gas mains for the Falcon Street Extension Project. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor. As part of the Falcon Street extension, it was identified that and discovered there were some gas mains that needed to be relocated, meaning moved down further in order for the street to go across. So to cover the details, it's going to be Drew. Okay. Drew over, staff engineer.
Good evening, Council. As Bruce mentioned, we have been in the design phase for the Falcon Street extension. This extends Falcon Street from Fairgrounds to Amelia Drive in the Teal Lake Village area. And during the design phase, while talking with the utility companies, we found that Ameren in particular had 2 gas mains that were in the project area which would need to be lowered, as Bruce mentioned. The difference, though, in Ameren's case is that they actually owned the land that those mains are on prior to, and as long story short, prior to conveying the rights of that land for city usage of the street. And in that conveyance, they actually retained rights for those utilities. And so the cost for relocation of the 2 mains will be on the responsibility of the city. And so looking at moving the project forward, the city is interested in proceeding. We're recommending the council approve the cost of relocating these utilities at an estimate of $31,524. The work would be done through Ameren, not by city forces, and that is an estimate that was provided by Ameren personnel just a few weeks ago. So we anticipate once we've given, in essence, an okay to start, that they would start construction within about a month or so of that, and then in theory we'd be looking at putting bids out for the project in this coming spring is what we're hoping for.
So this is an additional cost beyond what we budgeted for.
Correct.
So this, in essence, this street is probably going to cost closer to $100,000.
Could very well be. The question will be how those bids come in, and we don't have the exact number on that, but we will, hopefully, once those bids come in early spring, let's say.
Well, I went back and watched the stuff that all this unfolded, how this unfolded. And if you go back and you watch, the way this all came up was there were 2 competing, there were supposed to be 2 projects there, one next to the other one. And so the idea behind Falcon Street was to have it all the way through. And now there's not a second project there. So I question spending $100,000 on a project that really doesn't benefit anybody except that one little area. Versus, I know we have ADA compliance issues around town. We have roads that need to be repaired. We've got stuff in the sewer system that needs to be repaired that affects people directly. This is not going to affect anybody, really. I mean, it's going to be $100,000 we're going to spend to make it a convenience for somebody.
Yeah, you're correct that this does add to the anticipated cost of the street. However, the second competing development was to the east. This particular portion of Falcon crosses Ameren UE's property that was not part of any proposed development.
No, I know, but the idea was to come across from Falcon through the development that's there now,
Right.
to the next development that was going to be next to it.
Correct.
Well, that development is not happening now.
It's the concept when Teal Lake Village was proposed was for a long dead-end street. The city, on the basis of trying to plan for second entrance as well as a more organized development of the remaining property, asked for a change in that design to provide for Falcon Street to go straight through. We don't have any idea what future development could occur there, but it's not going to be landlocked. There will be an access from Falcon.
Right. That's what I mean, but we could do that at any time. And we're getting ready to put a ballot issue to ask for a tax increase.
The second entrance into the existing development is what this will provide.
Right. So it's a convenience for a development that was not honest with us
It's also
to begin with.
related to emergency access and all too.
I feel there's other things in the community that can be better spent right now, because we could always go back and do this at a later time, right? We have the access rights. They don't go away, correct?
That is correct.
So we have the access from Ameren at any time we want in the future. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is there a particular reason why it should be done now as opposed to later, though? What advantage would that be?
When you're
A part of the advantage is that it does provide a pedestrian access out of the existing west development there, the Birdland area, to the commercial area there along Park Street. The sidewalk's not all the way through, but this connection would get it 3/4 of the way through. And so there's some advantage to that, as well as the emergency access, having a second access, a second way in and out if there's fire or other complications that would occur on a rather long, currently dead-end stretch with multiple housing units. Just feel that there is, and this is somewhat my personal opinion, that second access is of some importance, as well as just having the extension of Falcon Street with the multimodal, the pedestrian access and all as well. Certainly, Chris is correct. The timing is within the discretion of the council on this. It is a project that has been planned for over the last couple of years, however.
Yeah, but the cost has gone up about 50% at least, a $30,000 increase.
Yeah, but if you postpone it, wouldn't that be a good chance the cost goes up some more?
It could, but we could use that money for other things in town that the community wants. And to be honest, most people on Falcon are not thrilled about this anyway. I hear about it at work all the time. So, I mean, they're not clamoring for it. So I don't know, take that for what you want. So that's all I know.
Kinsey, I like your idea about the safety part of it. But what's the name of the nursing home down by the condominiums? That's one way in and one way out also.
They're off of Ashley Court down in, yes. Yeah, and
work about that too, so.
Yeah, I thought about that as well, but I can think of lots of streets in town that are dead ends that I could claim that they need a second entrance as well. So. I just hear so many things. I mean, my basic thing is I hear so many things around town people want. We don't have the roads the way we want. We have a sewer system needs to be repaired. And we're getting ready to ask for a tax increase on the next ballot. Albeit, whatever that is. I mean, that's not a straight tax increase from us, but I mean, if we're going to ask for more money, and this benefits very few.
Well, let me ask my question a different way. So I'm listening to him, and I'm really not, in my mind, quite sure. I know where Falcon is. I'm not quite sure about the map on this. Okay, so what if this, essentially what I'm hearing Chris say is, and what I'm hearing you say, is not do it at this point in time?
Yeah. I mean, if there was something to be developed back there or something happened, it's not a huge cost project, but it's, money that could be used elsewhere right now.
So if we would postpone that, then is it highly likely then we come back to it and have to do it again in the future? Or do you understand my question?
I do. And I think that it would probably be likely that we would come back and do it at some point in the future, especially should further development ever occur there, like what you were mentioning. Some of this does have to do with the idea of planning and the idea of almost a city planner, looking at it from the standpoint of future expansion, but also connectivity, like Kinsey was pointing out. If you try to tackle everything all at once, it becomes very difficult from a budgetary standpoint. And that's why we try to budget things year by year and have a 5-year capital plan. And so this was part of that idea of looking at it from a step-by-step approach and getting connectivity from the Birdland area, for example, so people could walk all the way up to Aldi almost. Those kinds of things go into the idea of city planning, and that's the way at least I'm sort of approaching it, and providing that street access along with the sidewalk, and eventually, hopefully, there is further development. But Chris, you're absolutely right. There is nothing on the docket now, as I understand it.
Where's the sidewalk in Teal Lake subdivision at this time, or Teal Lake, whatever this thing is?
It runs down the west side of Amelia Street.
Okay, but what about down the Falcon Street side?
It would run on the north side of Falcon
It would,
Street.
or it is?
It would.
We have to put it in?
The project includes the sidewalk, yes.
So we're sidewalking their property.
That 100 feet or so, yes.
Why aren't they doing it?
Their property is just that small piece
Well, I can
that's
see it
on the
on the
edge
map
there.
right here.
Yeah.
It should have been included in their original plans.
Do what?
I think it probably should have been included in their original plans.
You're talking about the people who developed the...
What are you going to do for sidewalk on the old Falcon, because there's no walk there? So you're talking about them walking all the way down there. If they're going down Falcon Street now, they're walking in the street.
That's correct. Throughout Birdland, they're walking in the street.
Yes, I know.
Because at the time, the council chose to waive putting any sidewalks in.
That was a long...
And
That was not us.
Well, I see the safety issue to it, and I understand that, but I'm very objectionable to have a poor sidewalk for them. I have a lot of problems with the project, so that really throws a clink in the bucket for me.
we certainly could go back and talk to the developer about that. I have no idea what kind of answer we would get, but that's certainly something that could be done.
I guess my only concern as I listen to this all unfold, like we said, it was in the budget. Yes, it is increasing. But historically, when it comes to this Till Lake development, we keep hearing objections, and most of it stems from people not liking the fact that they were using HUD money in their Section 8. And so then it comes back to, are we more concerned about adding the street that could potentially help us if some other place is looking to add another development down the way and it's already access versus we have to still build access? Or are we going to be focused on the fact that it looks like we're trying to take away certain things from potential residents that live in a certain community? I'm just...
I can answer that question because I'm one of the...
Please.
It's not about HUD or anything. It's about this project was a lie from the word go. It was misrepresented to us. Everybody can agree to that. Nobody disagrees it was misrepresented. So they got their funding, they got their sources, whatever. But to spend more money from taxpayer citizens for a
I guess my thing isn't, I understand why you're upset. I get that.
And this doesn't
my
have
thing
anything
is,
to do
though,
with the
the
project.
people who live there are residents and taxpayers
Right.
of Mexico, Missouri. And they have just as much right as anyone else in this city to have nice roads, to have safe access and entrances just as anybody else. So I think if it's going to be just about the money, then let's say it was the money. But once you start bringing in, which was the first thing that was said, was about Till Lake residents, it makes it appear that we don't want to do something for certain people in our city.
If you're breaking it down to the people here deserve a sidewalk in the street, so the people in Birdland, no sidewalk period.
I agree. There's people out by me. I mean, on Kent Street, there's a lot of places. But like we said, it was something that that we were budgeting for, and it was in our 5-year plan that we've already talked about. It's something. It's not like they're just popping this up and saying we're just doing this all of a sudden. I mean, granted, it's I just wanted to be on record, me saying what I'm saying, and how it votes, we vote. But we have to be careful of how we're wording things when we're saying it and bringing up objections to something, because it can be taken the wrong way.
Well, I think if somehow we could go back as a council and put sidewalks where they are needed, Kentucky Road would be a prime example, because talking about a dangerous road to walk on that has no sidewalk, or you're talking about a development that has no the whole, all where we live. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't we shouldn't say there shouldn't be sidewalks for anything we do now. So, and I don't follow that.
And I don't know where that came from. I don't remember stating to begin with this was about their project. I'm pretty sure I stated to begin with that this was about spending money. And this was about a project that's costing more. And that I've said several times there's other places in our community that this money could be used that would affect many more people than this small little thing. And I get the safety. I understand the safety. But I also, just like Steve mentioned, there's lots of roads in this community. They're dead ends that we could argue about, well, let's build them a road. But we're not going to argue that build them a road. So, and I'm not saying we can't do the project, but I know, you could, I potentially look at like $80,000 at least. That was another half of an asphalt laying project. I mean, we spend, $200,000 on roads every year. I mean, that's a lot, and that's one of the biggest complaints I hear, is like our roads, our sidewalks around town that we do have are not maintained. We just had a big meeting about what are we going to do over 10 years over our sidewalks. This is money that could be used for that. And I'm not saying we don't build it. I'm saying if there's a reason to build it, fine. But so far, I haven't really, I get the safety, but besides that, I haven't really heard a monetary, really good reason to build it, so.
Well, let me ask you again. Is this something that more than likely we will do, then come back to and have to do in the future? This particular project. Did you hear my question? Did you understand? I said, is this a project that more than likely we will have to come back and do it later?
It is a project that won't go away. It's going to have to be built at some point, would be my guess. Because if you have future development going, you would stop that if you don't. Just because of city code, we wouldn't let anything else really be built there without an additional access point.
Okay, I'm ready to make a motion.
I'd like to ask Kenzie another question. Kenzie, is there any chance we can, or what's the possibilities of you going back and seeing if they'll pay for their part of the sidewalk?
Be glad to do that. Right? I mean, we can certainly ask.
Well, it's certainly their street, and I thought that we said sidewalks needed to be poured with streets, and it isn't, even though they're probably going to say, well, the street doesn't go anywhere, but if we're going to make it go somewhere. So I guess I would make a motion to approve this, but I would ask that you contact them and see if they could participate with their walk.
We can certainly
and if that
do that.
needs to be an amendment to this proposal, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah,
Are we gonna table it? You can't table.
The motion, the motion that's being made is to approve this particular amount of money for this project. You can't amend the motion to condition it.
We can table it.
Okay, I withdraw my motion.
If I could make a suggestion, perhaps, this expenditure is for the relocation of utilities. Council will have another opportunity with the project itself at the time that construction would be done. Between now and then, we can certainly contact the developer about participation in sidewalk cost. That being a somewhat separate, as I understand it, from
The sidewalk would be part of the street construction. That would be another project forthcoming.
I understand.
So we can go ahead and talk with them,
So can we just postpone this?
Yes, either way, you can table this, you can
we can vote
because this is for the relocation of utilities, so we still have the street to be designed and to bid on that, and you'll vote on that, and that would be the time for their participation is during the construction phase of the project.
Well, it seems there's no reason to move the sewer if we don't, move the gas line if we don't approve the street. It seems to me it's all one piece coming together. Okay. We need to know what the gas line is, what the street's going to cost, whether they participate on the sidewalk, what our sidewalk cost is. To me, it looks like one piece.
And the council's pleasure, if you want to table this at this point, we'll try to get an answer for you.
A second.
What's the motion?
Table.
Okay.
I did.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Next order of business, purchase of 2 patrol vehicles for the Department of Public Safety.
Yes, Your Honor. For this year, we have budgeted for 2 vehicles, and to cover the details of bids received, we'll turn to Chief Rock.
It's that time again.
If you wouldn't hit deer, we wouldn't have to get some.
2, no tags on them.
I heard you haven't checked them in either.
Pardon?
I heard you didn't check them in.
There wasn't much left of the one to check in. Replacing patrol vehicles like we do every year, rotation or fleet cars, cars with high mileage, and of course they start to break down and increasing maintenance costs. The cars that we had to trade in was the old Impala. I think that's the last of the Impalas. It's the one that was out at the airport. And the second one was to be traded in, but became a deer strike in October. So we would like to use that insurance settlement from 103, which was a sergeant's car, to cover the difference in the purchase of what we're looking at. Here's some specifications that we were looking for in the new vehicles. Heavy-duty V8s with a heavy-duty automatic transmission, and everything here heavy-duty, as you can imagine. They put a lot of wear and tear on the cars. We sent out for bids to 6 vendors, and we only received 1 bid. It came back from Landmark Dodge, who we've done business with before. And here are the numbers with the grand total. That's a little bit over because of only the one little trade-in of $500. So if we put the insurance settlement with that, we'd be pretty close to our budget number.
What is our insurance settlement? You know?
We don't have the final number on it yet from them. Rogers tried to get that number from them the last couple of days, but there was a couple of things that they still needed to go over as far as the graphics on the car and some equipment that was damaged. Early discussions with them is we believe that settlement will be higher than the difference, but we don't have that number yet. They haven't given it to us yet.
Okay.
And so what we're recommending is to purchase the 2 Dodge Durangos from Landmark, and those will be the cars that we would be able to get first.
Are you getting what is it called, cattle pusher or brush guard on the front?
Deer guard.
Yeah, put a cow catcher on there, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, why do you send bids out to 6 places for these? Because there's only one company can bid in the state, unless you bid other varieties.
They're open to bid all the varieties. They chose not to.
Okay.
And I think part of it is on some of them, it depends on the variety that they have that they can offer to, because they know they won't be as competitive with, these folks usually get state contracts.
They got state contract.
Yeah.
So no other Dodge dealer can participate.
I think they actually could.
They just can't get the price.
Right.
Can't get the price, so there's no use to bid. Okay, I just wondered.
And pleasure of the board.
Make a motion to buy 2 2020 Dodge Durango lease cruiser, lease all-wheel drive from Landmark Dodge in Independence, Missouri.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Okay. Appointments to various boards and commissions. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor. The first one is the Mexico Airport Advisory Board. Roger Dubert, Phyllis Hornbeck. Mark's first terms expired October. All 3 have expressed interest in reappointment, and we have not received any other applications. So that would be for a 3-year term on each of them to go through September of 2022, if council would like to reappoint those.
Okay. I have a motion.
Move we appoint Mr. Duber, Mrs. Hornbeck, and Mr. Stewart for a new 3-year term.
Second.
Briggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Shivers?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
The next is for the Planning and Zoning Commission. There's currently one vacancy on the board, which would expire June of 2022. Michael Myers has expressed interest in serving on the board. This is the replacement for Helen Fenland's position. We have not received any other applications expressing interest. So this would be to fill an unexpired term.
I make a motion to appoint Michael Myers to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes.
Yes.
The next is for the Mexico Housing Authority Board. There's currently one vacancy on the board, which expires in June of 2020. Martin Keller has expressed interest in serving on the board. We've not received any other applicants, and this is a mayor's appointment.
Okay, I would like to make an appointment of Martin Keller to the Mexico Housing Authority Board. I have a motion for...
Second.
Is it?
To concur.
To concur, that's what I said.
Concur.
Briggs,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And the last is the Zoning Board of Adjustment. There's currently one vacancy on the board, which is actually an alternate position. And this is for a position that would expire in June of 2021. James Medley has expressed interest. This is a city manager appointment, and I would recommend James be appointed and would ask the council for a motion to concur with my appointment.
So moved. Is that right?
Motion to concur. Exactly.
Second.
However you want it right.
Briggs,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller, Shivers,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
At this point,
I move we approve the claims.
I second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shivers,
yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, council comments. Ms. Briggs, you have any?
I have none.
Got nothing.
I love heated discussions. I have nothing.
ELF is coming on pretty soon.
Yeah.
And the Presser Gala was last weekend. It was quite exciting if you were there. That's all I have.
I have none. This time, Your Honor.
Hey, don't forget that we'll be back same time, same bat station next week.
Next Monday.
Next Monday. Do we have any public, if anyone from the public has anything to say, please state your name and address for the record and keep comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Next, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Briggs,
Yes.
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Shivers,
Yes,
Williams.
Yes.
adjourn.